my dear students, welcome to IMS Academy. My dear students, are you looking for a smart revision on the topics on transportation? Then here is the session where I will revise the concepts on the geometric design on transportation engineering. My dear students, we at IMS Academy offers offline gate coaching at Jayanagar Center at Bangalore, and also we are offering the offline gate coaching at Vijayawada near Bin Circle. And my dear students, the silent features of IMS Gate Academy are we offer 800 plus hours of offline gate coaching. Along with that, we also give you the gate online coaching and also gate self-recorded sessions. My dear students, in this curriculum, we will be giving you subject-wise material, exercise books which contains level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. And remember my dear students, in these level 1, level 2, level 3 questions, we are covering both NET, MSQ and multiple choice questions. And remember my dear students, to test yourself, you require some of the test series. We have chapter level test, advanced level test, multiple subject test, and we have the all India mock test. So then what are you waiting for? If you are a real GATE aspirant of GATE 25, it is the time to start. My dear students, if you are preparing for a GATE exam, it has vast advantages. You name PSU, you name into IIT, you name for higher education. So lot of opportunities are there. If you are a civil engineering student or an electrical student or a mechanical student, you have a better opportunities in the government sector, in the state level as well as SSCG. So students, it is the time to realization and it is the time to quickly revise before the GATE exam. So as part of the smart revision of transportation, I am here to explain you the concept called geometric design. I am here to explain you the concept geometric design. Now my dear students, in India where road transportation plays a vital role, okay, and the software utilized for transportation is MX roads. So in geometric design, the first thing I would like to discuss in the quick revision and the formula sheet is SSD. What do you mean by the term SSD? SSD refers to stopping side distance. What do you mean by SSD? SSD refers to stopping side distance. And my dear students, stopping side distance is a summation of lag distance and braking distance. For your clarification, stopping side distance is a summation of lag distance plus braking distance. Now my dear students, what do you mean by lag distance? It is the distance travelled by the vehicle during the reaction time. And my dear students, what is the distance travelled while applying the brakes? That is called braking distance. So stopping side distance is a summation of lag distance plus braking distance. Now let us go into the generalized formula where you can get all the insight of SSD. So SSD is equal to VT plus V square upon 2G F into efficiency plus or minus capital N. My dear students, if you can remember this formula, any question in the actual exam on SSD can be solved. So what is V here? The term VT is equal to lag distance and the term V square upon 2GF, this reflects braking distance. In some of the GATE exams, they might have asked you what is lag distance and what do you mean by braking distance. Now my dear students, here velocity is in meter per second and T is known as the reaction time. As per the IRC, Indian Road Congress, the reaction time is taken as 2.5 seconds. I hope you are clear what do you mean by reaction time. Okay, the realization time. When I talk about V square upon 2GF efficiency plus or minus N represents the braking distance, Here F represents the coefficient of friction and efficiency represents eta and plus or minus n. Now my dear students, when I talk about ascending gradient, then you will be using positive sign. In ascending gradient, we will be using the positive sign, and negative sign is utilized in case of descending gradient. In case of negative sign will be taken in case of descending gradient. So my dear students, what do you mean by ascending gradient or descending gradient? So when you are climbing a mountain, you can take it as an ascending gradient. When you are coming down from the mountain, then you call it as a descending gradient. So lower to higher, ascending, higher to lower, descending. I hope you are clear with the term stopping side distance. Very good, my dear students. Now coming to the next concept we have is the overtaking side distance. What, sir? Overtaking side distance. Now, what do you mean by overtaking side distance? In the name itself, how safely you can overtake the vehicle of a slow moving vehicle. How slowly or how safely you can overtake the slow moving vehicle. That is nothing but the overtaking side distance. Now see students, if I consider this as a road, we have the fast moving vehicle, this is the slow moving vehicle, and we have this vehicle has to be overtaken here. And there might be a vehicle which is coming in the opposite direction. Now my dear students, what do you mean by D1? D1 is given by the formula velocity of the slow moving vehicle plus T. D2 is given by the formula VB into capital T plus 2S. And D3 is given by the formula V into capital T. So here see students, we have D1, D2, D3. Now here let me tell you OSD or overtaking side distance for two-way traffic. OSD for two-way traffic can be taken as D1 plus D2 plus D3. If they ask you for, my dear students, if they ask you for one-way traffic, it can be taken as D1 plus D2. So here what do you mean by D1? D1 is nothing but VB into T. D2 is nothing but VB into capital T plus 2S. Now here my dear students, what do you mean by S? S is nothing but the spacing between the vehicles. S is nothing but what, sir? Spacing between the vehicles. So here what do you mean by T? T is nothing but root 4S upon A. Okay. And remember my dear students, here this formula, a spacing can also be written as 0.7 VB plus length of the wheelbase, where length of the wheelbase will be equal to 6.1 meter. Now let me tell you one important. Here the reaction time for OSD, is taken as 2 seconds. Actually, as per IRC, the reaction time for stopping side distance is 2.5, whereas for OSD it is 2 seconds. And you know D3 can be taken as V into T. And velocity of the slow moving vehicle can be taken as velocity of fast moving vehicle minus 4.5 into 1. Sir, minimum length of overtaking zone is 3 times the OSD and desirable length of overtaking zone is 5 times the OSD. I hope you are clear with the overtaking side distance. Let me explain you. Overtaking side distance is the distance travelled by a vehicle, how safely it can how safely it can overtake the other slow moving vehicle. So as part of this, we have D1, D2, D3. D1 and plus D2 is for one-way traffic. If it is a two-way traffic, it is D1 plus D2 plus D3. The minimum length of overtaking zone is 3 times the OSD and the desirable length of overtaking zone is 5 times the OSD. Sorry student. Now here D1 is nothing but VB into T. D2 is VBT plus 2S. Here S indicates the spacing between the vehicles, which is 0.7 VB plus L, where L is the length of the wheelbase. Velocity of the slow moving vehicle is V minus 4.5 meter per second. And here the reaction time is 2 seconds. So my dear students, I hope you are clear with the OSD concept. So let us move on to the next concept, that is most important concept, that is super elevation. So when I talk about the term super elevation, actually it is a combined term, my dear students. When I talk about super elevation, so here super elevation can also be taken as a cant or a banking. Super elevation can be taken as a cant or a banking, or you can write, my dear students, it is nothing but the slope. What do you mean by super elevation? A cant is nothing but a slope. A banking is nothing but a slope. So here if you consider a slope here, a curve, the rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner edge is nothing but the super elevation. So the rise of the outer elevation of the road, can be H and width of the road can be B. Here you can write E is equal to tan theta is equal to H upon B. So this is the actual formula for super elevation. The rise of outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner is nothing but the super elevation. Now my dear students, let us study what do you mean by centrifugal force. Students, here let me tell you, centrifugal force or P is given by the formula mv square upon r. Centrifugal force is given by the formula what, sir? mv square upon r. So when I talk centrifugal force is what, sir? It is nothing but mv square upon r. Here m or weight can be written as mass into gravity and the mass can be written as w upon g. So if I substitute here, mp can be written as w by g, v square upon r. Now my dear students, from this you can write p by w is equal to v square by gr. And now let me tell you one important thing. Suppose we have a vehicle here, okay, and let the distance between these two is b and the centrifugal force is at a height h. Now the weight will be acting here. So weight w into b by 2 is equal to p into h, or p by w from this can be written as b by 2h. So actually my dear students, this is the condition for super elevation, or you can write this is the centrifugal ratio. My dear students, here centrifugal ratio is given by the formula p by w is equal to v square by gr is equal to b by 2h. So this formula indicates the condition of super elevation okay, and here p by w is called what's a centrifugal ratio. What do you mean by p by w? So let me write here, you can write here p by w is equal to v square by gr is equal to b by 2h. Okay. So this value will be equal to what, sir? This value will be equal to centrifugal ratio. Now my dear students, a vehicle can fail in two ways. Let me tell you clearly. A vehicle can fail in two ways. One is the vehicle can skid or the vehicle can overturn. What, sir? A vehicle can skid or a vehicle can overturn. Now, which will take care of skidding and which will take care of overturn? Suppose, my dear students, if the coefficient of friction is greater than p by w and also b by 2h is greater than p by w. P by w is nothing but centrifugal ratio. If both friction and b by 2h are more than the centrifugal ratio, then you should be able to understand that there is no overturning or no skidding, then there is no chances of overturning or skidding. For suppose if F is less than P by W and B by 2H is less than P by W. Okay. And remember, my dear students, if F is less than B by 2H, in this case, first skidding happens. First skidding, then overturning. Okay. So this is how the things will do when you are talking about centrifugal ratio. So what is the purpose of learning centrifugal ratio is, the purpose of learning centrifugal ratio is when it will overturn and when it will skid. Now see students, sir, see in equilibrium super elevation, what do you mean by equilibrium in equilibrium super elevation? You can say that the pressure in both the tires, the reaction in pressure in both the tires will be same. Now see student, when I talk about equilibrium in super elevation, what do you mean by equilibrium in super elevation means? Here E will be equal to V square by GR. That means in condition for equilibrium super elevation, the coefficient of friction means the entire thing, the coefficient of friction will be considered as 0. Now, if you see, the generalized equation can be taken as E plus F is equal to V square by GR. But let me tell you, in case of mixed traffic, what sir? In case of mixed traffic, the velocity will be considered as 75%. So here E plus F can be taken as 0.75 V whole square upon GR. So my dear students, in case of mixed traffic, okay, you can say that the 75% of the design speed is considered. Okay. Now let us understand what are the design steps in super elevation. What are the design steps in super elevation? Now see students, first you know already, you will take E plus F is equal to V square upon GR. Okay. Based on that, if E is less than E max, then our design is correct. For suppose if the calculated E value is more than E max, then assume E max plus F is equal to V square by GR. Now see students, you have to calculate the value of F. Okay. If calculated value is less than F max, which is 0.15, then your design is more. If suppose calculated value is more than F max, then you have to take, if I take plain rolling, 0.07 plus 0.15 is equal to V square by GR, and you have to calculate the velocity, design the velocity, or you have to adjust the velocity. So this is the actual way how do you provide the design for super elevation. Sir, super elevation is something like rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner to have a better experience for the road, for the driver. Okay. Now see students, let me tell you, there is a concept called extra widening. What sir? Extra widening. Now my dear students, when I talk about the word extra widening, sir, how do you design extra widening means? Extra widening can be written as mechanical widening plus psychological widening. What, sir? Extra widening can be written as is equal to mechanical widening plus psychological widening. Now see students, here extra widening, mechanical widening is given by the formula NL square upon 2R, and psychological widening is given by the formula, when I show you capital V means it is kilometer per hour, V upon 9.5 root R. Now here I have a question for you students. Here what do you mean by L square by 2R? L square by 2R is nothing but what, sir? Off tracking. Okay. So what is off tracking means? It is the deviation in the path of the front and rear wheels of the vehicles is known as off tracking. And its value is equal to L square by 2R, where N represents the number of lanes. V upon 9.5 root R represents psychological widening. Now see students, if the radius of the curve is less than 50 meter, extra widening is provided on the inner side. Okay. If the radius is between 50 to 300, if the radius is between 50 to 300 meter, the extra widening is provided on both sides. Now my dear students, if radius is greater than 300 meter, you can say no extra widening or no extra widening is required. No extra widening is required. So here you should be aware what do you mean by extra widening. Extra widening means it is the extra width provided during the curves. Now it is a summation of mechanical widening plus psychological widening. Okay. Here see students, when the radius is less than 50 meter, it is provided on the inner side. If the radius is between 50 to 300 meter, it is provided on both the sides. If the radius is more than 300 meter, no extra widening is required. Now see students, if I talk about the transition curve, what is the formula for transition curve? So transition curves, we have different formulas. One is with respect to the rate of change of acceleration, V cube upon CR. C is given by the formula 80 upon 75 plus V, and C value, this is V, capital V. C value should be 0.8 to 0.5. Actually, the ideal form of the transition curve is spiral, sir. Now see students, if I talk about L is equal to V cube by CR, C is known as this is the length of transition curve based on rate of change of acceleration. What's the rate of change of acceleration? What do you mean by rate of change of acceleration, sir? What do you mean by rate of change of acceleration? Rate of change of acceleration is nothing but jerk. Rate of change of acceleration is nothing but what, sir? Jerk. Okay, here length of the transition curve is given by the formula V cube upon CR, where C is nothing but 80 upon 75 plus V, and V can be taken as C is 0.5 to 0.8. Okay, sir. So this is the length of the transition curve based on the rate of change of acceleration. Now the length of transition curve, based on rate of change of super elevation. What, sir? What do you mean by N is called based on? Here in the previous case we have studied about rate of change of acceleration. Now I would like to study about the rate of change of super elevation. Rate of change of super elevation. Now here, my dear students, when I talk about the length of the transition curve based on rate of change of super elevation, we have L is equal to En into W plus W by E. What do you mean by W, sir? Here, W is nothing but extra widening. Okay. This formula is applicable when it is rotated about the outer edge. When the is rotated about outer edge. When it is rotated about center line, then we take it as En by 2 into W plus WE. This is about where, sir? About center line. Now see, students, the value of N depends upon rolling, plain terrain and all. Plain it is 150, rolling we can take 60, okay. Hilly or anything we can take 60, okay. So what is the length of the transition curve based on rate of change of super elevation? It is En into W plus We. If it is about center line, En by 2 into W plus W, where W indicates the extra winding. Now we have empirical formulas also. L is equal to V square, empirical formula for plain rolling, L is equal to V square by R, and L is equal to 2.7 V square by R. This is for plains and hilly terrain. Now we have three formulas, sir, for transition curve. Out of these three formulae, which is the highest, you have to calculate based on three conditions, and the highest value will be considered as length of the transition curve, okay. And remember, my dear students, the length of the transition curve will be the highest, and the shift of the curve, if they ask you what is the shift of curve, the shift of the curve is nothing but Ls square upon 24R. This is the shift of the transition, shift of the curve, okay. Now let us go through the important things. Now see, students, when I talk about vertical curves, okay, when I talk about vertical curves, sir, suppose if I assume length of the curve is more than SSD, in this case, length of vertical curves will be given as ns square upon root 2h plus root 2 small h whole square, okay. Now here you can ask me, what do you mean by n? N is nothing but the algebraic difference between the grades. What, sir? N is nothing but the algebraic means you have to take all the signs. N is nothing but the deviation in grades or algebraic difference between the grades. Here when I talk about the algebraic difference between the grades, N can be written as G1 minus G2, or if they have given two grades. For example, okay, sir, you have to see also, okay. Now, here what does capital H represents? Capital H represents the height, suppose height of the eye level of a driver. What, sir? Capital H represents the height of eye level of a driver. If I consider the height of a level of a driver, it is actually equal to 1.2 meter. How much, sir? It is equal to 1.2 meter. If I talk about small h, that is the height of an object will be equal to 0.75 meter. Sorry, 0.15 meter. So if you simplify this, you will get a value, length of valley curve is equal to ns square upon 4.4. Okay, sir, this is the length of valley curve when it is more than SSD. Sir, this is just an assumption. We are just assuming when it is greater than that. For suppose, if length of vertical curve is less than stopping side distance, Okay. Here the formula is equal to 2s minus root 2h plus root 2h whole square upon n. Sir, why I am telling this formula is, in some cases the height of the eye level of the driver or height of the object, they can vary, sir. As per IRC, as per Indian Road Congress, if I consider as per Indian Road Congress students, capital H is 1.2 meter and small h is 0.15 meter. But if they have given you the values, what sir? If they have given you the values, then you should be aware of this formula. That is the reason I am solving in this way. So in this case, the length of the valley curve is given by 2s minus 4.4 upon n. So this is the formula. So length less than SSD, this is the formula. Agree students? Next. Suppose if the length of the curve is greater than OSD, length of vertical curve is given by the formula ns square upon 8h. Here S represents OSD, okay? Or you can write this as ns square upon 9.6, okay? Suppose if length of the curve is less than OSD, overtaking side distance. So in this case, it will be equal to 2s minus 8h upon n. So here length of this is given as 2s minus 9.6 by n. So these things you should be aware when it is actually, okay? Means which case, this is OSD case, the other case is nothing but the SSD case. Sir, vertical curve means if two curves meet at a summit point, that is vertical curve. If two curves, then we have called valley curves. Okay. When I talk about valley curves, the length of the valley curves, if you talk about SSD, the length of valley curves is given by the formula ns square upon 2h plus two s tan alpha. Okay. Now see students, here if I talk about alpha, what do you mean by alpha, sir? Alpha is nothing but, sorry, 1 second students. When L is greater than SSD, the length of the valley curve is given by the formula ns square upon 2h plus tan alpha, okay, 1 second, 0.035 tan alpha we can write. Simple way. Here what I would like to tell you here is, what do you mean by alpha? What do you mean by alpha, sir? Alpha is nothing but beam angle. And usually alpha beam angle, alpha can be taken as 1 degree, sir. Okay. So actually H will be taken as 0.75 meter. Okay. So if you see here, this entire formula we can simplify as L is equal to ns square upon 1.5 plus 0.035, yes. So you can write in this way. Why? Because here alpha is nothing but the beam angle and you can use this formula. If L is less than SSD, you can write here length of the valley curve is 2s minus 1.5 plus 0.035 s upon n. So these are the formulas for length of the valley curves when it is more than SSD and less than SSD. Now see students, actually when you are reading transportation engineering, see most of the, either you can expect a question from SSD or OSD, or from, actually you can expect a question from super elevation or length of valley curves and all. But see students, we have another concept called grade compensation. Okay. Grade compensation is given by the formula 30 plus R by R or 75 by R, whichever is minimum. What, sir? We'll take two values. One is 30 plus R by R or 75 by R. Whichever is minimum, will be considered as grade compensation. Okay. And remember, my dear students, when I talk about compensated gradient, it cannot be less than 4%. It cannot be less than 4%. Suppose I'll give you some examples, sir. If you got grade compensation as 0.6 and you have a value 4.5 here. If you made a compensated gradient means 4.5 minus 0.6, then 3.9, you cannot get 3.9. What will be the grade compensation here is, you can make it as 0.5 and you can make it as 4%. Are you able to understand how the question can be solved is, actually grade compensation or compensated gradient after applying the grade compensation, it cannot be less than 4%. Next, see students, what is a camber? We have concept called camber or cross slope. What, sir? Camber, or you can say it as camber or cross slope. When I talk about camber or cross slope, it is nothing but the where you maintain the cross slope to drain off the rainwater. What, sir? To drain off the rainwater, we are using this camber or you can say cross slope. Now in here we can have like triangular, this is like a triangular camber. If I take this is W, if the slope is 1:n, they have given the equation as W by 2n. Sir, this is for slow moving vehicles, okay. If it is for fast moving vehicles, we take it as parabolic camber. This is triangular camber and this is parabolic camber. For parabolic camber, the generalized equation is y is equal to 2x square upon n into W. Okay, sir, this is the equation for parabolic camber. And always remember, the slope, camber is nothing but a cross slope. So it is represented as 1:n. I hope you are clear. Now see students, the most expected question in GATE, sir. You can say most expected question and concept in GATE. When I writing this is very important, sir. See students, suppose the concept is from traffic engineering, this one. The concept is from traffic engineering. Okay, that, sir, and another thing is green shield model. We are talking about green shield model. Suppose, see students, if a graph is drawn between velocity and density, the graph will vary linearly. Okay, sir. Now see students. Okay, if we draw the discharge, okay, and density, you can say discharge and velocity. This is velocity. Q and V, it is a parabola curve. Okay, now see students, what I would like to tell you here is, we call this as free flow mean speed and we call this as jam density. Okay, now see students, sorry, here we can, sorry sir, here is velocity and here you can write it as density. Okay, there is another graph also, sir. We have the graph in this way. Here is K, okay, and we have is Q. Okay, One is the graph between velocity and density. Other one is velocity and flow. One is velocity density, velocity flow, and density and this we call it as what, sir? Hi, hi. Hi, Yashashvi. Sir, this is flow and this is K is density. Now see students, when I talk about velocity and density, okay sir, this is a graph between velocity and density. We call this as what, sir? Free flow speed. And we call this as Kj, jam density, okay. Now see, Vf is called what, sir? Free flow speed. And Kj is known as what, sir? Kj is known as jam density. Kj is known as what, students? It is known as jam density. Are you clear, sir? Now see, students, we know the straight line equation. Y is equal to what, sir? Mx plus c. So here y is what? V. Can you hear me now, Babu, Hitesh? Am I audible, sir? Babu, Hitesh, am I audible? Sir, am I audible, sir? Can you repeat? Okay. So here y is what, sir? V. X is density, mk plus c. I hope you are, am I audible? Okay. V is equal to mk plus c. Now see, students, at density k is equal to 0, velocity is equal to Vf. And at density k is equal to jam density, velocity is equal to 0. Are you following, sir? Yes, very good, very good. Now see, students, we have V is equal to what? Mk plus c. Now V is equal to Vf. And here m into at k is equal to 0 plus c, right? Sir, V is equal to Vf when k is equal to 0. So c will be equal to Vf. Okay. Now V is equal to mk plus Vf. Okay. At k is equal to kj. V is equal to 0. Okay. Now see, m will be taken as 0 is equal to m into kj plus Vf. Are you following, sir? So here, my dear students, m is equal to minus Vf upon kj. Okay. So you have got two values. One is what, sir? M is equal to minus Vf upon kj, and we have c is equal to Vf. So here if I substitute here, V is equal to, what is m, sir? Minus Vf upon kj. K into minus Vf upon kj plus Cf is what, my dear students? Sir, what do you mean by Cf? Cf is Vf. So here if you see these, students, V can be taken as Vf into 1 minus k upon kj. Okay, see, students, this formula you should be aware. This is the generalized formula for green shield model. Okay. Now see, students, you know V is equal to what, sir? Vf into 1 minus k upon kj. Okay. Now you know Q is equal to what? K into V. Sir, what do you mean by Q? Can anyone tell me, sir? Sir, what do you mean by Q? Q is nothing but traffic flow. Q is nothing but what, sir? Traffic flow. That is nothing but number of vehicles per hour. What is K? Traffic density. Vehicle per kilometer, vehicle per length. What is V is velocity, kilometer per hour. So my dear students, for the flow to be maximum, sir, see, for a traffic flow to be maximum, Sir, for any function to be maximum or minima, its derivative should be 0. So, for a flow to be maximum, you can write Q is equal to K into Vf into 1 minus K by Kj. Okay? Yes or no? Because V is equal to Vf into 1 minus K by Kj. Okay? Babu, Hitesh, are you following, sir? Now see. Here if I take the rate of, means the flow to be maximum, we are differentiating with respect to density. So here if I take density, you can take Vf and the K is K square minus 2K upon Kj. Okay. So here you have taken into Vf, sorry, into Vf. Now see students, I can write this as Vf into 1 minus 2K upon Kj is equal to 0. Now anyhow free flow speed cannot be 0 here. I will take 1 minus 2K upon Kj is equal to 0. So 2K by Kj is equal to 1. K is equal to Kj by 2. What, sir? For a flow to be maximum, when density is equal to half of jam density, so here see students, for a flow to be maximum, density should be equal to half of jam density. Now you know V is equal to Vf into 1 minus K by Kg. Now if I substitute here, K is equal to half Kj, 1 minus half into Kj upon K. So V is equal to Vf by 2, flow will be maximum. V is equal to Vf by 2, flow will be maximum. Flow to be maximum. So see students, you can finally apply that traffic flow is maximum when density is equal to half of jam density and also velocity is equal to half of free flow speed. Okay. So here maximum flow can be written as Vf into Kj upon 4. So this is the formula for maximum traffic flow. So these things will help you a lot, sir, in solving the problem. I hope you are clear with this. So students, if you are really writing the GATE 24 exam, then 3 important things you have to be clear now. So stay positive for the exam. Quickly go through the formula sheets, sir. Just go through only the formula sheets in these 5 days and try to identify the terms what are there in the GATE. Means suppose if I have told you Vf, what is Vf? Free flow speed. What can be the equation for free flow speed? What is jam density? Like that, you have to identify the terms. Like especially if you are if you are from civil engineering students, if you are in the basis of just to qualify, if you want to target qualifying, then study engineering maths, aptitude plus geotech, transportation and environmental only. Okay. These subjects try to make as much revision as in these 5 days. Sir, why? Because in these subjects, if you will get 25 marks from here and almost 28 marks from these 3 subjects. And if you want to get a rank below 1000 or 500, add a subject like surveying, CPM port or construction management and open channel flow. And these will definitely help you to secure a better rank. So see students, all the best for the GATE exam. I hope you are doing great. And remember my dear students, we at IMS GATE Academy proudly say that we are offering the offline GATE coaching at Bangalore at Jayanagar Center and also at Vijayawada near Bench Circle. We are providing the online gate coaching with 800 plus hours of gate. Speed up, sir. Okay, speed up. Actually, we are done for the today. Sabir Jadhav, we are done for the today. In the next, I will be doing, sir. Okay, I'll be doing. See, we at IMS Gate Academy, we will be providing 800 plus hours of gate coaching. In that, we will be providing you the online, offline, and also self-recorded sessions. And one more thing I would like to tell you, my dear students, we are giving subject-wise material, exercise books which contains level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. In addition to this, my dear students, we are ready to provide you the All India Mock Test series which contains chapter test, subject test, advanced level test, and also the all this comes under test series. So students, I hope you are enjoying the sessions on the quick revision, and it is the time to test yourself. So please focus main on the short notes and only the formula sheet in these 5 days, and stay positive and stay healthy. All the best for your GATE exam. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you.